Hey, oh, hey, Merry Christmas to you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm wearing my OU, as you know, Boomer Sooner Christmas sweater I found at the thrift store. But let me tell you why I'm here. I posted a video the other day regarding communication and socialization, and so I kind of want to take it along in that vein. Now, you see, I'm wearing my love earrings, so I'm about to issue some love, and it may be tough love, but I think it's important to share. And this is a message to adult children. Okay? A couple of things. Your parents, for the most part, did the best they could with what they knew to do, and they don't owe you anything anymore. Their responsibility was to raise you to the best of their ability. Did they make some mistakes along the way? Oh, they absolutely did. Did I? Absolutely. Did my mom? Absolutely. Did her father? Absolutely. But in each generation, they did the best they could with what they knew. And to that end, I'll just use myself as an example. As a single mom, my mother couldn't afford to do a lot of things, fun stuff. She did some things, but she couldn't afford to do a lot of stuff. She couldn't afford all the bells and whistles and a bunch of trips and, name brand clothing and all those kinds of things. So I started working at 14 so I could buy those things for myself, okay? So when having my daughter, I said, well, I want to do this for her. I'm going to do this for her. I'm going to make sure she's in these things. I'm going to make sure she's in these things because, again, growing up under a single parent, there was a stigma that went along with it, and I didn't want my daughter to feel that inadequacy like I did. But there are some things that I learned along the way because of those challenges. The reason I'm making this video is because I happened to have a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, or I overheard something, and the young people between the ages of, let's say, 20 and 30 were saying that their generation is the most misunderstood generation. And when you think about it, that generation of people are the ones to go no contact with their parents. Now, before you come up in here talking about, well, you don't know what these kids been through. Some parents were abusive. I will concede that. But the vast majority were not. The vast majority were not. Because see, what you all consider abuse was merely discipline. The reason why I'm saying that is because we've done you a disservice. We've made you weak. I happened to watch Judge Judy the other day, and there was a teenage girl who was in basketball, and they were suing the coach because the coach would not refund the money. Well, it got down to the fact that when the girl wanted to get out of the basketball because she didn't like the coach's coaching style because he yelled, he would pull her out of the game and not tell her why, not explain to her why. And the grandmother, when Judge Judy asked, why did you pull her out? There are going to be a lot of times you're going to work under somebody's leadership that you're not going to like. That's just life. In school, professors, all that. We're teaching them, we taught them to quit and run when things got tough. That's why I say, for you all to have so many resources, as far as mental health resources, you're worse off. And you blame your parents for that. And again, keeping in mind, they did make mistakes. Shoot, I think about my own self with my mom and both my daddies, my biological and my stepfather. If I wanted to, there's enough to hold a grudge. And one thing is true. With each generation, they believe that the younger generation doesn't believe the older generation understands them. You know why I say that's funny? It's because there was a song Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff released in 1988. Parents just don't understand. What is different is with social media, You all take your grievances about your parents to the internet as opposed to having conversations with them to try to reconcile it. You found a community of all over the world to trauma bond to justify you going no contact with your parents, who, like I said, by and large, did the best they could with what they knew. And by and large, I'm willing to bet, had better lives, provided you better lives than they had. Yeah. More than likely, many of you had the best of everything. In sports, extracurricular activities, all these kinds of things. But yet, when you get to an age that you feel like you can go off on them, not, forsaking all they've done to make you the person that you've become, you get a little bit of authority, and you think you want to put them in their place. But see, let me tell you something. The Bible says, respect your mother and your father, and your days will be long. It does not say respect them if they've done everything right. And another thing that is different, even though the previous generations had a reason to have an ought with their parents, one thing remained. We respected the position. We respected the hierarchy. And you all have been emboldened to disrespect it because you were grown. And you were taught, respect those who respect you. No. You respect the position whether you respect the person. That is why many of you can't deal in the workplace. That's why many of you cannot handle professors. That's why many of you can't handle life. Now, I'm not saying this to upset you. I'm saying it because I would like for you to take an introspective look. Because again, each younger generation will contend that the previous generation does not understand them. And I share it with you. I just shared with you about the song that Will Smith did in '88. I shared with you a couple of weeks ago about the letter that my mother had written to me in 1991. And she wrote that letter to me because as a response to the letter I had written to her, basically saying the same thing. That we didn't understand each other. We couldn't communicate. Because largely, parents, we share things with you and we try to guide you in ways because we can see down the road, because we've done it either well or not well, and we can tell you how it's going to end. And then that's our way of still trying to protect you. And so because only thing you want to hear is how great you are and how all of your decisions are great, when you hear something you don't like, you find it easy just to walk away and not be in communication with them. Let me tell you something, good or bad, you only get one. You only get one set of parents. When they're gone, they're gone. No matter what age. I'm encouraging you to do something that is probably hard for some of you to do. Connect with your parents. Apologize for the disrespect that you've shown them. Try to have a conversation with them and let them know how you feel. Because your responsibility is to yourself now, and that means therapy to work through the issues that you have. I had to do it regarding my mother and my father. My daughter is doing it now. Because again, she has some concerns where things I did wrong. I've apologized. That's all I can do. Can't go backwards. But like I said to you, I did the best I could with what I knew. And she turned out pretty doggone great. Still don't mean I didn't make any mistakes, because I did. So, reach out to your parents for this Christmas. You never know if this is going to be the last one. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.